Good morning, dear students in grade 5. Today we are going to talk about the theme 3 and theme 4 in notes and a small summary, starting with theme 3, concept 1. When we started concept 1 in lesson 1, we talked about the water, and we said that the Earth planet consists of 4 main systems, which are biosphere, hydrosphere, geosphere, and atmosphere. The 4 systems are interacted with each other to help the living organism to survive, which means stay alive. And also we said that the Earth looks like a blue marble because the water covers 71% from the volume of its surface. And don't forget that we classify the water according to the type of it into fresh water with a percentage 3.5% and a salt water with a percentage 96.5%. We can use water in many things, like generating electricity, in agriculture, in drinking, in washing hands, flushing toilet, recreation, taking a shower, bathing, in agriculture, in manufacturing, many industries. So any living organism live on the earth cannot survive without the water. Then we said that the biome, it's an area which contains the similar climate, weather, and living organism like the tropical rainforest, grassland, desert. Any large ecosystem has a similar climate. We can call it as the biome. And then we classify the areas on the earth into 2 types, which are shallow areas and deep areas. The shallow areas contain the intertidal zones, and the deep areas coupled with the abyssal zone, and because the sunlight doesn't reach it, so the plants cannot grow in it. Don't forget that the fresh water has most of lakes, but some of lakes are salty water, like Lake Berdawil in Egypt and Lake Asal in Djibouti. Finally, we end the concept with the ponds, streams, seas, and oceans. We can compare between them according to the type of water, the movement of water, and also the living organisms that live in each one. Excellent. Then we started in theme 3, concept 2, with a very important questions, which has give reason poor quality and scarcity has a dangerous effect for the ecosystem because it causes the death of thousands of living organisms that live on the earth, and also extinction for many organisms that live in aquatic ecosystem. Then we said what is the meaning of watershed. We said it's an area in which the water come toward it from many different resources of water, and if the level of the water increases, causes flooding. If the level of the water decreases, causes drought. Then we said what is the meaning of excellent tributary, which means a small river that flows into a bigger river, then to the sea, and then to the oceans. And any pollution happens in each water body, all the water bodies will be polluted because they are connected together. Then we talked about how can we differentiate between preservation and sustainability. Preservation means that prevent the development of any natural resources on the earth, like the natural protectorate such as Ras Muhammad protectorate in Egypt. While sustainability means we can use the natural resources on the earth without any negative effect for the ecosystem, for the living and the non-living things. How can we filter the water? As an activity, we can use the sand, the charcoal, and the cotton. But in real, there is a most important wastewater engineer treatment in Egypt, which is Bahr al-Bakr. But don't forget that the treatment of the water we can use after treatment it in agriculture only, as it contains some salts, so we can use it in drinking. Humans, animals can use the water, the fresh water, in drinking only. Starting for theme 4, concept 1, we started with the meaning of the gravity. Well, the meaning of the gravity, it's a force by which the body is attracted to the Earth's surface, which causes the ocean tides and causes the moon revolves around the Earth. All the planets revolve around the sun because the sun here has the greatest mass, so it has the greatest gravity to pull all the planets to revolve around it in their fixed oval or elliptical orbit. What is the speed of the Earth around itself in 1600 hours? But what is the speed of the Earth around the Sun in 107,000 kilometers per hour? Also, we said that any object to move needs a force, maybe push or pull. And there is an important note that the magnetism force is pushing or pulling force, while the gravity is always pulling force only. Then we talked about the law of motion, which states that it's constant and the gravity affects all the objects that attach to the Earth with the same way. Then we talked about the meaning of the friction force. It's a force that opposes the motion of the object, maybe through air like the air resistance, maybe through water like the water resistance. But if we remove the air resistance, the object will reach the Earth at the same moment as we said in its experiment. Finally, we end with the solar system, and we said that the solar system consists of the Sun and the 8 planets revolving around it. The theme for the last concept 4, starting with the day and night phenomena, which happens due to the Earth's rotation on its axis in 24 hours, while the cycle for the 4 seasons due to the Earth's revolution around the Sun, which means that there is a big difference between the revolution and the rotation. Excellent. Well, the meaning of rotation means object revolve or rotates on around itself, like when the Earth rotates on its axis. But the revolution means the revolving of object around another object, like all the planets revolve around the Sun. Then we said that why there is a big difference between the sunrise and the sunset day after another in the same countries in Egypt, due to 2 reasons. The first one, the axis of the Earth which is tilted, and the rotation of the Earth on its axis. Then we talked about the constellation. Well, the meaning of constellation, it means that a group of stars take a certain shape in the sky, and the most important one, the Orion, constellation Orion, relative to a mythical hunter. Also, we can see the constellation in winter than in summer, and it appears at different locations due to the Earth's revolution around the Sun. Stars can produce their own light, but Moon and the planets cannot produce their own light. Moon can reflect the sunlight, so it appears bright at night. Then we can talk about the difference between the galaxy and the universe. They are completely different here, grade 5. And all the telescopes that are located on the Earth cannot discover all the distant objects in the space due to the presence of the atmosphere, because it acts as a protective layer that allows some light waves to pass through it and block others from passing through. And the last lesson in concept 2 in theme 4 talks about the planetarium, which is a building, looks like a dome. We can find it in Alexandria, and it can bring a realistic picture about the space to tell us actually what happens in the space, about the movement of the sun, the stars, the moons, and so on. Scientists that work there can use complex computer to help them to bring accurate pictures about the movement of the celestial bodies in the space. This for a small summary for each concept in theme 3 and theme 4. Today we are going now to learn or remind us how can we solve a model exam. Before starting the exam, we have to remember that the model exam consists of 3 questions. Question 1 consists of letter A and letter B. Question 2, A and B. 3, also A and B. You can find complete, choose, scientific term, true and false, give reason, what happens, match. And don't forget, you may find a define, like the first term, like define the ecosystem, define the biome, define the shallow area, the deep areas, the gravity, the law of motion. So be ready about a question like this. Let's see how can we answer the exam. As we see in the exam, starting with question 1, choose. Number 1, all the following materials can be used to filter wastewater in simple water filter, except what? We said before that we can use sand, charcoal, excellent, and cotton. So the out here will be the wood. Very good. And number 2, presence of the dolphins in oceans represents an interaction between. How can we answer this question? Dolphins belong to biosphere, and the oceans belong to hydrosphere. So here is an interaction between the hydrosphere and the biosphere, which is letter A. What about number 3? At the end of the river Nile delta, when the salt water mixes with the fresh water, it will form what? Very good. An estuary will be formed, or we can say a delta, by the way. Our solar system contains only one star, which is the sun. We know that we have many stars, but in our solar system there is only one star, which is the sun, that has the greatest mass and also the greatest gravitational force. In letter B, what happens if the gravity of the sun, if its mass decreases than it's now, also it will decrease, because there is a direct relation between the mass and the gravity. If the mass of an object increases, the gravity will increase, and vice versa. If the mass decreases, the gravity also will decrease. Number 2, water is collected in a low-lying area. Excellent. A lake will be formed. 3, the shadow of an object if the sun locates at the east or at the west. We said before that the shadow at the east or the west will be the longest, but at noon, actually at 12 p.m., it will be the shortest one. This for question 1. Let's complete. How can we answer question 2? Scientific term. An imaginary line that passes through the two poles is called what? Axis. But I cannot write axis only. We have to write here Earth's axis. Number 2, a type of water which represents 33% of the water. Of course, it will be the fresh water that we can use it in everything in our life. Sun and the 8 planets revolving around it, it will be the solar system, as we said before. What about the complete? Let's see. Maybe you can find the keywords in the exam, and maybe you cannot find it, so be ready to answer the question of the complete without the keywords. The Earth system that includes all living organisms is called biosphere. To be remembered, the biosphere means all the living organisms. The geosphere means the landforms, mountain, the earth, the rocks. We can say lithosphere for the geosphere. It has 2 names. Atmosphere means a mixture of different gases. And hydrosphere means the water, or we can say all the water bodies on the earth belong to the hydrosphere, whatever it's a fresh water or it's a salt water. Number 3, a group of stars that make a certain shape in the sky, it will be constellation. Excellent, grade 5. The last question, let's look at this figure. We have bar A with a percentage 97 and bar B with a percentage 3. Before answering the question, from the percentage we can know which one is the fresh water and which one is a salt water. Let's see. Bar 1. Which part represents fresh water? Of course, part B. While part A represents the salt water, as it has the largest percentage. And number 2, the type of water which a human can drink, of course, part B, which is a fresh water. And number 3, ocean is an example of water bodies which is included in which part? Very good, grade 5 in part A, because it's a salty water and the ocean always contains salty water. Wish you a good day. Just study hard, sleep well, try to be relaxed, and remember all the important notes in each concept. Thank you for your listening, and I wish you a good day. Bye bye.